Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cisco and Aspire Technology Partners virtual event. Thank you for joining us today. We have a great session prepared for you. I am Pam Adriano, Director of Marketing here at Aspire, and will be your host for today. A few housekeeping items before we begin. Everyone in attendance is muted, so we can fully maximize the insights from the presentation. This webinar is being recorded. All attendees will receive a link to the recording in a follow-up email. The recording will also be available to watch on our website, aspiretransforms.com. Please use the Q&A feature on the bottom right side of your screen for any questions you may have for our speakers. You can choose your view by clicking on the layout icon located at the topmost right-hand side of your screen. Before we begin, allow me to introduce Aspire Technology Partners. Aspire has headquarters in Eatontown, New Jersey. We have local operations in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, as well as White Plains and Albany in the state of New York. We work with our customers for their business transformation by leveraging the power of digital to achieve their defined outcomes. We act as an extension of IT teams through our managed services and provide innovative and actionable industry perspectives for our client partners. Aspire's core strength is anchored on our dedicated team of experts delivering advanced technology solutions and services that revolve around our core practice areas: enterprise networking, collaboration, cybersecurity, data center and cloud, mobility, and IoT. We have two excellent presenters today. Kyle Turk is Aspire's Solutions Architect for Emerging Technologies. He holds high-level certifications in wireless, security, and IoT technologies, including a CCIE certification. Brian Allard is Bouchaine Vineyards and Winery Direct-to-Consumer Director. Brian is a former poet turned entrepreneurial clothing designer. Brian's Napa Valley career includes wine certifications and a wine business MBA. Brian is also going to be our sommelier this evening. We also have Carter Yepson, Aspire's IoT Business Development Manager, and Paul Gasparo, Cisco's IoT Specialist, who will be joining us in the discussion. And now, please welcome Brian Allard. Brian?
Welcome to Napa, everybody. My name is Brian Allard. I'm the Direct-to-Consumer Sales Director here at Bouchaine Vineyards. We're a small family winery in the very southern part of the Napa Valley. Where I'm seated right now is 82 degrees. If I were going to drive just 15 minutes, though, up to Robert Mondavi Winery, the temperature would shift 20 degrees and there'd be none of this breeze you're seeing behind me. That is literally our vineyard. We've been gardening for 40 years. This is our 40th anniversary. And we're actually here, believe it or not, to talk about the weather today. The weather, the dichotomy that I just described between here and Robert Mondavi, is the difference between Napa's Pinot Noir zone and Napa's Cabernet zone. And if I got in my car right now and went out to the California coast, it'd be 50 degrees there, and I might not even be able to see the front of my car because of the fog. Sacramento is an hour and a half from us. And it's almost as warm as it is at Robert Mondavi, but a little bit warmer. Probably 110, 105 there today with no wind. And the difference between Napa and all of these areas is Napa's warm during the day and it's cold at night. We'll go from 85 degrees here to 55 degrees around 8:30, 9. Same thing in the middle part of the Napa Valley. By 9 o'clock, it'll be 55 degrees or so. And with that, during the day, the day's warmth drives flavor into the grape skins, the juice. Meanwhile, at night the colder nights is what drives flavor into the grape skins. In this journey of flavor occurs on a microscopic level in all of the great wine vineyards of the world. Every great vineyard of the world is planted in little blocks. Over here I might have Chardonnay Wente clone. Over here I might have Chardonnay Wente clone with a different root system, or I might have a same root system with a different clone of Chardonnay. We have Cisco sensors teed up to accumulate data at two of our most important points, just in 2 parts of our vineyard. the so-called terraces where that wine that you're about to drink is coming from. And by the way, be sure to open it, be sure to chill it. You want to drink it a little bit later when we start the wine tasting portion at about 60 degrees. Believe it or not, just a little bit of a chill. And if you open it now, it'll help the wine breathe. It's one of the great tricks for any wine you're ever going to have in the world. But 75 yards or so from this hill that overlooks the San Francisco Bay, at the very end of the Napa Valley, at the very end of our vineyard, is another section of Pinot Noir, made with the same clone of Pinot Noir, but the difference is $20. One's 85, one's 65. We like them both sort of the same. We only make 200 cases of the wine that you're about to have, but this is a metaphor for the wine industry in general. It's an important nexus point in American wine. This is the first time in the wine, in the history of American wine, where our production has outstripped our interest. And the implications of that might not be so dire if it weren't for one other factor. America really doesn't export wine. We consume, in the States, 93% of all of the wine we make. So whatever the trend is here in the States, if millennials, as they are now, for example, suddenly like a little bit more, they like booze a little bit more, and they like wine a little bit less, it's actually devastating. WebEx has taken us all over the world last year. We were closed, and yet we quadrupled sales through technology. And I must say it's quite an honor to host you today as a consequence sort of an accident. We were the first people in the world, in the wine business, to use WebEx technology and digital technology to extend the wine tasting experience all over the country. And now suddenly, post-COVID, 300 million Americans are trained to use it too. So it's had a transformative effect on a cosmic scale for our sales. And now we're thinking of using technology in the opposite direction, on a microscopic level, for understanding how to grow better flavor. The phrase that we've been using internally is the taste of technology. And it's ironic that it actually has, it's almost literal. Large scale producers, small scale producers, it's all about finding the sweet spot in your vineyard. Higher end vineyards will have different types of soil. They'll accept moisture differently. And as a consequence, you might need to water them more or less. Older vines, you might need more or less water, probably less because they have longer root systems. And if you could ever dial that in across whatever, for us it's 100 acres, for somebody like Gallo it might be 10,000 acres, incrementally you're saving the planet in terms of the water use, but you're also saving your costs. And you're also figuring out one other thing. If your grapes are too big, you have a diluted flavor. As they get smaller and smaller, you go to raisins. So you don't want to be harvesting raisins. You want some form of a small, condensed, very intense grape. And you need to figure out, okay, how far above the ground should our vine rows be? Vine rows all over the world are designed so that at the warmest time of the day, at the hottest time of the year, the leaves are set up to block the sun. The rest of the time, needless to say, the leaves are there to help photosynthesize the sun. Gallo once said that wine is sunshine held together by water. And so how do we take this, the poetry of wine, and dial it into data? And that's what Kyle soon will be talking about. We're so excited to be working with Cisco. I am so honored to be a part of this conference, and I can't thank you all enough. In a second, I'm going to give you a toast, just to get us going. But throughout the wine industry right now, in America, there's a little bit of a price pressure. All over the world, there's a need to preserve the land differently and to maximize your ability to create great flavor. If you were all accountants today instead of scientists, I'd say, well, you know, in the Napa Valley, an acre of land costs somewhere about $450,000. But a bad acre of land might be $100,000. The very best vineyards in our country might be $700,000 an acre. So from an investment point of view, what we're talking about today affects amortization charts. From a customer point of view, it affects how much you're going to spend potentially for a great bottle of wine. From a sales point of view, it involves my hope to sell you this wine today at $85 and then in 10 years at $185. So thank you again. Once we start the wine tasting portion, interrupt me at will. It's really more of the fun. And in the meantime, everybody, cheers to you, and thank you so much for letting me be here. Welcome to Napa. Kyle, take it away.
Good afternoon. My name is Kyle Turk. I'm a technical solutions architect here at Aspire Technology Partners, and I'm going to talk to you today a little bit more about the technology behind the Bouchaine Vineyard. Let's take a deeper look at the tech being used to help prove or disprove many of the winemaking lore mentioned earlier, highlighting the data being captured and the value it is providing to Bouchaine. We'll look into how the vineyard produces wine, and after understanding the winemaking process, we were able to pinpoint areas that we could easily and non-invasively collect information from. The following slides will focus on a step one, growing and harvesting, illustrating how you can start small with data collection and provide tremendous value out of the gate. Of course, we used the Industrial Asset Vision sensor catalog to help discover some of the initial starting points we could agree upon. We saw immediate value by collecting heat, humidity, temperature. We also saw benefits from light telemetry and other sensor data key metrics. Let's explore how this data, though, is currently benefiting Bouchaine. The technology that we used at Bouchaine is a prepackaged solution called Cisco Industrial Asset Vision. This solution includes a cloud dashboard and a data repository. It utilizes LoRaWAN radio and sensors and has the ability to transmit data at far distances over the entire Bouchaine vineyard. Cisco has removed the complexity of onboarding sensors and devices by allowing you to use a smartphone to pass that data and get your sensors on to the network. Additionally, providing access to all the data collected through a cloud-based web server allows us better manageability of the devices and the products. This is the Iav Dashboard. It provides information on assets and devices. It also displays current health and location, as well as alerts and notifications. From the dashboard, you can look at your deployment and see an overall view of the sensors and the system as it stands. Now let's take a look at the data collected and understand the value that it's providing Bouchaine. We're looking at a location and an asset view here, and this view allows us to define locations where we can assign multiple sensors. We're grouping these sensors into certain blocks based off of the vineyards and how the vineyards define their varieties. We've defined three distinctive blocks: the Dijon, the terraces, and the Gewürztraminer blocks. This look is at how the data is helping to prove the roots to shoots hypothesis. This data is beneficial in allowing the winemaker to determine how ground temperature and elevation of the shoots affects yield and quality. Notice how the ground temperature is warmer in the morning and the air temperature is higher in the evening. This Industrial Asset Vision dashboard allows us to look at the sensors and what they're providing, the telemetry. This is where you could look at the sensor on an individual basis and determine its health and telemetry and information. Finally, diving into a specific sensor, we can see individual telemetry, location health, and related information. Not only are we gathering data about the environment, but we also have data metrics on the specific sensors themselves, making sure that we maintain a certain maintenance and capability in gathering the actual data that benefits Bouchaine. And now I'd like to call in Paul Gasparo and Carter Yepsen.